they're not the only players in the game of late that want to get into energy supply, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what to call this, but it's the production of power producing components.
Right.
GM is another one. And GM just announced that they are going to spin off a company. Let's see what I can tell you here. It's going to start off a new business that's going to be energy centric. They're going to call it GMEnergy because why not, right?
Right.
And they're going to do stuff, some of it's similar to what Tesla's done, stationary battery packs, solar panels, electric vehicle chargers, energy management products. And
Ford, by the way, has also recently gotten into that sector as well.
Well, why not,
totally
right?
Makes sense.
So,
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you sent me a thing of a Costco, like, home EV wall charging unit for your car that you can buy at Costco now. It makes sense for GM to go, hey, we stand to this is the same thing that we said when the state government started to invest in charging station infrastructure. Somebody's going to do it. There's money to be made. All of these electric devices have to be recharged somehow. So GM says, let's get there early. Let's make the components that help charge these things up and supply power. And also, all these grid problems that people keep bringing up, if we offer some storage solutions, you're less impacted when you have a power outage for a couple hours.
Absolutely. And you've got to tell you how valid of a venture this is for them. When you've got PG&E on their side, Con Edison, there is a lot of energy companies out there that are on board with this for a lot of reasons, because they've got and of course the technology is out there for them to make this happen. And I think there's been some little events that have happened that you guys have heard about in the past, like specific storms, like ice storms and winter storms that took the grid out in Texas, and you had a guy with a Ford F-150 hybrid that had the full onboard charging generator system that allowed him to power up his own home. So it's not something that's new, really. It's just putting it to work for not only the user, but as well as helping the grid out. So how do you do, everybody is complaining about, there's two things that worry people about EVs. Range is one of them. But secondly, everybody seems to throw this out, well, the grid can't handle it. Well, while Keith and I don't disagree with that completely, there's a lot of work to be done in order to convert over to electric vehicles, or to have some sort of population with the goals at, say, 2030, 2035 to be all electric. That is going to be very taxing on the grid, no doubt about it. But they are thinking outside of the box now. How do we get there? So the key is to relax the grid a little bit. And with this type of venture and the technology that we have, which is bidirectional chargers that go into these vehicles, where not only can you charge the EV, but you can put back into the grid. You can put it back in. This is very important for the system to work. So this is huge. I completely love what they're doing.
That is different than, and I've looked into this. The traditional standby generator that people have, the big ones that you put outside your home, where if you lose power, it would kick on and you could run it and it would power like things like your air conditioning or your HVAC system or your, refrigerator. They're big, right? They're big units.
Right.
But you have to have an I forget the term of it, but basically it's an anti-feedback device that blocks power from being sent back up the power line to your neighbor's house and the grid, so to speak, because people could die. If there's an outage, let's say a line broke, a tree fell on a line, and that guy's working on the line, and he doesn't expect that it's hot, that it has power going through it, and your generator's sending power back up the line. That's not a good situation, not to mention the fact that it could create other electrical problems with other components connected on downstream or upstream. But this is a different step in that the grid would potentially accept power back from your stored device, and you could potentially get paid for that.
Absolutely. I know of several people in the area here where I live that have recently gotten incentives to install solar panels on their private residence. And what a cost savings for them in the end run with this.
Man.
Because they're able to pay back. I mean, they're actually being bought back. Energy is being purchased from them, from the power companies, man. And so it's a win-win.
I don't know what their monthly bill is, but I know Disney developed a massive solar farm, and it's actually shaped like Mickey's head in Orlando. You can see it out of the plane when you're like landing at the airport. It provides enough power to power 2 theme parks.
Good Lord, man.
Yeah, it's serious.
Well, I will tell you this, too. In South Carolina, and I know this to be a fact, in rural South Carolina, very close to where some a family of mine are at, there are solar farms like crazy, because otherwise they're not really, the farming industry has kind of shifted from there. Just due to climate changes or just whatever the heck is going on out there with the weather. It's not right. And, in certain areas you used to be able to produce really big crops, but you can't do it now just because of weather conditions and, droughts and those sorts of things. So what do? Well, they turn them into solar farms. And so more and more of these things are popping up. And what I liked about this was the approach to natural resources to provide that energy, such as solar panels, wind farms, and stuff like that.
Anything that makes me less dependent on the man, I'm a huge fan of.
Absolutely.